All right, what's going on, everybody? We are back. Like we said, we was gonna be. We're a couple of days late. As you can see, I got these sunglasses on. I'm not trying to look cool. I'm failing miserably at that mission, but had to get my eyeballs dug around in. I ain't never told y'all about all the eye issues that I have, but we here on the camera. We don't have our glasses on. The glare going crazy, but we back. Like we said, we're gonna talk about Cade Cunningham for a little bit. We're not necessarily gonna talk about him and like all the things that he's doing on the court right now. I mean, we can get into that too, like how he's been playing since like the first 15 games of the season or whatever. But more so, I wanted to talk about like Cade Cunningham and how he's an interesting study and like how we evaluate players like in the draft and things like that. And how sometimes we get in our own way and like try to twist ourselves in pretzels and try to like find ways that people aren't going to be good in this league as opposed to like seeing what they are good at, knowing why they're good at it, and kind of seeing how that would project going forward. Now, I'm not saying everybody does that, but there's always this thing where people pick sides in the draft and they want like, oh, I'm a Jalen Green guy, I'm an Evan Mobley guy, and then people try to fit like their preconceived, like not their preconceived notions, but their preferences for another player kind of or the way that that player may play. Like you might like your Jalen Green's explosive athleticism and like, you know what I'm saying, the little pop off dribble you got and all that other stuff. And then you see Cade and you're like, oh, he's not beating people off the dribble. He's not, you know, and it's not to pit them against each other. I'm going to talk about Jalen at another time. But just how we kind of get in our own way and kind of miss the forest for the trees, or however that saying goes. I don't remember. I ain't said it in a long time. But the thing I specifically wanted to talk about was like the type of player that Cade is and like how it all aligns with the way that I view basketball and how I kind of figured not figured but I just thought that he was going to be pretty solid, not immediately but like within a couple months, because again I've said it time and time again, and I show it time and time again with how I talk on this channel and the things I choose to show you. The number one thing that people the number one indicator for success, I believe, for a player in the league is not necessarily like how they pass and things like that, but just if they show any indications that they can like run an offense and like do so in a way that not a lot of people can do, you know, at an earlier level than most people. And like we saw with Cade in Oklahoma State, he had all the responsibilities, not all the responsibilities, you know, but he had the responsibilities of kind of running that team, getting people the ball in creative ways, and just being the engine of a team and doing it in a way that wasn't just like a driving kick and like finding a guy, but more so high level reading defense, getting the ball to spots that cause reactions in the defense. And we'll talk about all what playmaking entails and things like that later. I'll have a whole video on that. But just guys who can show that like attribute early on, I bet on those guys all the time. And the thing with Cade that people weren't so sure about was like, oh, how is he going to deal with NBA level defenses and defenders? He doesn't really have a lot of shake off the dribble. He's kind of, you know, he's not very explosive and all these other things. And my thing was always that if he has that baseline level of just knowing the game and, you know, worrying about getting other people involved, things like that, because if you're able to see the game the way Cade Cunningham does, you're not worried about a primary defender most of the time. Like you're worried about the second line help guys and things of that nature, to where you're already thinking 13 steps ahead of everybody. So this guy in front of you is the least of your concerns, right? And of course, you have to worry about that because there's some guys like if that was the case, Kendall Marshall would have been the best basketball player of all time. That boy used to pass, man. Anyway, but so there's obviously something to that. But the thing with Cade was not only did he have this high level capability of making plays and like just running things and things like that, he was also very big for his position, right? And like those kind of guys are always valuable in some respects, even like your Kyle Andersons and people like that, your Sean Livingston's, even though he kind of, you know, he got really messed up. But like being a big guard has value as well. And you don't even have to be like a Cade level operator or decision maker. And I know there's some concerns about like his jump shot, and like I still don't like his release that much. He needs a little too much space to like actually make it do what it do. But as an offensive player, I didn't think he was going to struggle that much because of, one, like I said, he's big for his position, and he has a lot of offensive responsibilities that indicates that he's going to be able to get to where he needs to go, whether it be on the ball, off the ball, using screens, using footwork to get to spaces, using his body to create contact, and you know what I'm saying, touch off the glass and things like that. Like all of these things were things that he showed at Oklahoma State, and I think we kind of got we got a little far away from what he actually was as opposed to what he could possibly be, because you know what I'm saying. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. I don't know where that saying came from, but there's multiple ways to do that. We having bad luck with sayings today, but you know what I'm saying. You can be successful in a multitude of ways. Maybe he won't be like the heliocentric guy that has a 37% usage and all this other stuff, but you don't need to be that to be a highly successful player in this league. Even though I think he can like be a facsimile of that in years to come once he kind of figures out the NBA game a little bit more. But the idea that these guys are supposed to be like finished products and like we're just finding things that we don't like and we're kind of making that the whole thing about their game and stuff was just kind of weird to me because I thought he was the clear number one. Even though I thought, you know what I'm saying, like I said, I was a fan of Mobley coming out after I really watched him. I didn't watch a lot of Jalen Green. He was in the G League. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't really hunting for clips. And part of that was just because, like, I wasn't doing this shit. I wasn't really like, oh, let's be basketball opinions guy. I was just chilling in the crib. Like, you know what I'm saying? I made the first video on the women. Now we here. So, but as we get more and more into this, we're going to keep examining things like that more and more. Like I said, I really want to make this video about playmaking so you can kind of, so people can kind of understand like the way I see basketball. And I think it's a valuable insight, not to like toot my own horn. This sounds crazy, but like, I think, the way we talk about and discuss basketball hasn't really been hasn't done a service to like that aspect of the game, because the way a lot of people see basketball, and it's like no disrespect or anything, but a lot of people still see like the straight line aspect of it, the one on one, can you get past your man type of things, and like it's either that or there are people who are scheme people who just talk about how plays are set and like where people are supposed to go and stuff, and that's fine, but it doesn't get into the nuances of like how people actually operate and what the goal of like a playmaker is in a specific situation. Because like all that is all playmaking really is hunting mismatches. And we have multiple ways to do it. You have some people who are the mismatch themselves, as in they can just get by anybody and collapse the defense and just go from there. And then we have other type of players who use the pass to like create chain reactions and mismatches and things like that. You'll see people throwing people into like driving lanes and things like that. Just a lot of stuff that people don't see. And Cade did that stuff at a high level throughout his whole college career. But a lot of the focus was like, oh, can this dude get to the bucket? Like, can he? Maybe. We gonna have to see that, but we do know that he gonna see when that dude is trying to tag the roll man and he gonna make that pass. He gonna skip that pass over there and that guy's gonna be open in the corner for three. Like, we know he's gonna do that. He did it. You know what I'm saying? He did it consistently. Like, so like that's the indicator that was more, you know what I'm saying, positive to me than anything he could have done as a scorer, even though like that's highly important. But just being able to mesh those skills together, I didn't really have a concern with him being able to do any of those things. But you know, Cade is hooping. He he still, that jumper still is like, it's, you know what I'm saying. I don't think it's gonna be. I think he can get it to a respectable level for sure, because like mechanically it's not like crazy. Like it's just, it's not a shot that that you would think would be capable of like generating clean looks all the time, and that's a problem. Like you have to be able to generate looks to where you're not being disrupted and you're not having your shots like, you know what I'm saying, be affected in that way, because he still is kind of a front of the body shooter, and that's kind of, you know what I'm saying, you kind of want to get out of that. And if you can't get it out of it, you got to have either the speed or the footwork or some kind of space creation that will help you get clean looks off. And I think that he will in due time, I don't think he's going to change the form like significantly or anything like that. I think he's just going to have moments of where he's going to have to develop more skills. He's going to have more skill refinement, and I have complete faith that he'll be able to do that. Whether or not he's an on-ball number one guy or if he can be a supplementary guy next to a point guard, and I say supplementary as in he just doesn't bring the ball up all the time, because he's probably going to be the best player on the team that he's on in the future. Like, he's just too talented not to, unless he's with other talented people, and like dudes on rookie contracts usually don't have that kind of experience. But other than that, I'm glad that he is finally coming into his own. This video was gonna come out like 3 days ago, but other people dropping videos. It kind of came at a good time though, because you know what I'm saying, he was hooping in Barclays, you know what I'm saying, the house that D'Lo built, and you know, people are starting to see that like this dude got something with him. And so I'm happy to see that. I always root for good basketball no matter where it's at. I just want to see good basketball. I want to see people see good basketball and kind of understand what good basketball looks like. And I think he's going to be one of the players in the future that kind of brings that forward with the Lucas and all those other guys. As far as like future outings on this channel, you know what I'm saying, we got some more stuff coming. The Darius Garland videos coming out. Finally, it's like the timing has been crazy. What's his face dropped Cade video 2 days ago. Darius Garland video dropped like today as we speak. Even though I just spent like, I went through every possession of the last like 2 years of Darius Garland. Not I didn't go through every possession of the year before, but this year, every single possession I downloaded like 400 clips, dog. Like, and it's not gonna be a full analysis of like his stats and his stuff like that. We're gonna just talk more about his skills and like we basically it's gonna be about how he uses deception, for lack of a better word, to kind of get the job done out there. So that's what we got coming up pretty soon. If I don't have any more business going on with my eyes, oh man, I'll tell you about that one day. But other than that, we're gonna have more videos like this, short form. I'm gonna talk about Jalen Green at some point, and then yeah, I ain't gonna promise too much, but that's what's coming up. But other than that, I'll see y'all later.